I met Kevin Duncan at
Gnuff.
And we sort of got into a conversation. He wanted to come and visit the workshop. Kevin visited the workshop, brought Paul Mansell along with him. They did a nice little documentary on me and went away, and I thought, Paul's a nice guy. I'll make him an instrument. And I was thinking about this idea of an instrument which was for the student, not for the performance. Most instruments are designed for somebody else, not the person who's playing them. And the two things I wanted to do there, I wanted to move the sound hole and experiment with increasing the vibrating area here. And I wanted to put a sound port in for the benefit of the player. And from this instrument, Paul sold me probably 10 or 12 of these as student models. Loves it. It's nice to see it actually. I haven't seen it since I handed it over. See it's played and it's all its playing marks and its bruises and its use. Polish that it's got on the edges. It's always wonderful to see your children as they've matured.
It is used a lot as well.
But one of the big buts is that I needed to retire. I actually just got to retire. There's no two ways about it. I've lost skills. I've lost lots of things. I had a catastrophic year last year where I couldn't walk for a considerable amount of time. Couldn't even stand at the bench. And this is where I floated the idea to Dan of taking over the business. And one of the things that we needed to do was we needed to do this in an organic way. And the best way that Dan suggested we did was to do some collaborations. The first collaboration is with Paul Mansell. So I'd like to hand over to Dan to take that forward.
Okay. So the first thing we did was call Paul up and say, do you fancy a big brother for your tenor? So we developed, make sure it's on the stand. So we developed this, the Paul Mansell baritone. So to all intents and purposes, it's the same ukulele, the same design concept, the same aesthetic, but in a baritone size. So we built that as a prototype.
And there's a reason for that, because the year that I got sick was the year that I was going to finish off my building career with baritones. Because I think that's the way things are going.
Yeah.
And it's also a good training and intermediate vehicle between Dan's comfort zone, which is guitars, and his new comfort zone, which is ukulele. And just wanted to see if the concept worked. Did this idea of moving the sound hole, putting a side port in there, did it change anything?
Yeah.
Was it the same? Have the same effect? I think.
Well, we felt when we strung her up for the first time, I remember when we strung her up for the first time when we played her, and I sat down and played. And your reaction was interesting, wasn't it? That, I mean, it felt very natural to play to me.
Watching Dan play tenor, he struggles to sort of.
That's too small.
to actually identify with the instrument. So I thought bigger instrument might near a guitar he might.
Yeah, and then we kind of played it. And I remember us playing like this. We were both sort of sat round it. And then we did it the other way, where one of us played it in front of facing. And when we were playing like this, we were thinking, yeah, this is quite nice. And then when we turned around, it felt like a cannon blasting us in the face. So it really seemed to work.
And can you talk us through the wood that's being used here and the bracing that's being used?
Okay, so the wood is similar to the Paul Mansell student tenors. So we wanted it to look the same. We didn't have any more of the mahogany, the billets of mahogany that we use for the Paul Mansell student tenors. But what we did have is a number of guitar sets of kaya, which is African mahogany, very closely related to pure Honduras mahogany. And so
for those who geek out on wood ideas, it is the African equivalent of the South American Sweeteenia macrophylla.
Yeah. So we made it out of that instead. So this is a repurposed guitar set, actually, and it seemed to work. The look, the feel, the tone, the colour tone, very, very similar to the tenors. The neck is mahogany. The bits and bobs on it, so fretboard, bridge, head veneer, rosewood, Pal Rosa in this case. So it's a very, very similar instrument, and it sounds well. Paul, you should talk about what it sounds like, because I remember, it was a big test point for us when I brought it down to you to have you try her out.
Yeah. Well, what we'll perhaps do is segue a sort of video of me playing it into this little section.
Yeah.
So it's a very, very loud instrument, very loud. Much. I mean, the tenor's loud, but it's much louder than that. It's also, I mean, people know my feelings on the tenor. It's an amazing instrument, and this very much carries that on. It has got a different feel. Yeah. I mean, the baritones for me are always the strings are sort of more. They're not so taut when you play it. And I think it's an incredibly well balanced ukulele, and it just like its little brother, its little sibling, it's got an incredible range on it. I would say it's probably playing style slightly more forgiving than the tenor. I mean, I did 4 videos on it, of which I've released 2. And I did them all in one take. Yeah, and I'm not bragging about my playing there, by any means. Quite the opposite. I'm saying that it is a very easy instrument to play. The only thing I would say that is different about, or the biggest difference on the to the tenor, because the strings have less tension in them, it's easier to fall off the edge here.
Right. Yes.
Which just takes a little bit of getting used to, purely because they are. There's less tension, whereas on the tenor you're never really going to fall off the edge. I don't think I've ever fretted a note there and fallen off. On this one I have a couple of times, so that takes getting used to. Yeah. The sound is phenomenal. I mean, I mainly play classical, as you know, and a bit of flamenco, and to play flamenco on it is wonderful because it's got that punch. It's really got that punch. Yeah. I'm lucky. I play quite a few different styles. Jazz, bit of blues as well, and it works on all of them. And I think it's a wonderful looking instrument as well. I've had a lot of positive comments on it. Yeah. Let's just chat about the headstock a bit. So this is the first one to have the HL on, isn't it?
Yeah, Howlett and Lipson.
Yeah.
And that's great, isn't it? It looks really nice.
Yeah. It's it follows on from Pete's collaboration that he did with Tommy Ziegensbeck. Produced a number of instruments with the HZ logo. So when we agreed to do the collaboration, it was natural that we'd follow that with the HL.
Yeah,
and it divides itself into very, very specific format. Either of us can prep up the materials. That's just given. It depends who's got the materials.
Yeah.
Dan makes up the box, brings that to me with the next set at the correct angle for preparation. I then carve the neck.
One of us will do the finishing.
Either one of us will do the finishing, and then we come together to do the setup and the quality control.
So it's a real collaboration, this, which I think is incredible because, to have 2 people like you working on one ukulele, I certainly feel honoured to own it.
Well, you should say, I just discovered just last week that Danny Bourgeois, the great American guitar builder, builds the bodies of one of his range in his American workshop and then sends it over to China to be finished.
Let's build that. Oh, right, okay, finish that.
Yeah, send the bodies over there. And they come back with the neck on and everything finished.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look it up. It's just, I thought, I'm doing something unique here. Absolutely not.
I was going to say, do you know of anyone else doing this, a complete collaboration like this?
Yeah, not one-on-one. It's quite unusual, isn't it?
So
it works because I'm no longer feel as I've got skin in the game. I don't feel that I'm current with ukulele performers, basically, or the ukulele scene.
Oh, we're a strange bunch. You don't want anything to do with us.
Well,
Apparently we do.
Well, and it comes, just talk to me about this. I thought this was a really sweet little touch. He says handing the certificate of authenticity over, which I think these things matter because you both, so the ukulele is signed inside, isn't it?
Ukulele signed by both of us inside.
And then it comes with this wonderful certificate.
Yeah, and this is something I've always done. This is something I've always done with my guitars. And it's just it's a spec sheet.
Yeah.
What woods have been used, the dimensions. It's a description of the instrument. It's got the number of the instrument, number 4.
Yeah, brilliant.
This is instrument number 4 that we built together.
Yeah.
And again, signed by both of us. It's a bit of an affectation, to be honest, but I
like it. I think
I
it,
like it.
yeah. So, how much will one of these cost me if I want one?
£1,350.
£1,350, which is incredible value for such a phenomenal instrument. And how do people get their hands on one?
2 routes. Either ask your friendly neighbourhood Paul Mansell,
Yeah.
or ask your friendly neighbourhood
Dan.
Lipson.
Yeah. So, what's your website, Dan?
www.lipsonguitars.com.
Okay, or lipsonukuleles.com.
Or www.lipsonukuleles.com.
Yeah, and hopefully you've got a couple of things coming up, haven't you? You're going to be at Cheltenham, the Great British Ukulele Festival.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have a table there.
We're going to have some stuff for you.
Yeah, you got some other exciting stuff there, which we'll talk about in a little bit, maybe. Yeah. You got some other gigs going, not gigs. Sorry, you got some other.
Yeah, this weekend we're going to be at the big ukulele day.
What date's that?
That's the 18th.
18th, yeah. And then hopefully I'm going to be playing this at a few concerts as well. So I'm really looking forward to doing that.
Wow.
And if anybody wants to come and chat to me about it, they are most welcome to. So this is where we've currently landed. This is the HL model. Okay. So we've kind of ended up now in the middle with the HL product, haven't we? And now we're talking about the handover where you're sort of effectively becoming your own man, Dan, as it were, wasn't it? But you're kind of standing on the shoulders of giants, as they say. But first of all, we just wanted to chat a little bit about the headstock here, didn't we? That's slightly evolved, hasn't it?
Yeah. So what we've got here, we've got baritone that we've already talked about. We've also decided to carry on with tenors. And so the Paul Mansell student tenors, and the key difference that you'll see on this one is the headstock. So this has got the same straight-sided shovel-shaped headstock that's the collaboration headstock, but other than that, the instrument itself, as the tenor instrument, is the same as the one that Pete made for you 2 years ago.
Just a different wood, isn't it?
It's slightly different wood. These are both made of the same Kaya African mahogany.
Yeah.
Now,
because I think we did I'm taking credit there for all of Pete's work. It was kind of a limited run. Initially, you said sorry everybody, Pete's just off screen at the moment, between 12 and 20, wasn't it? Depending how much wood there was.
We ran out of wood.
Ran out of wood at 12.
Yeah.
So, but then we've decided to carry on with it in this different wood. So the original run of the just Pete Howlett ones is done, and that was a raring success. And now we have the luxury that it's been carried on under the HL brand with slightly different wood.
And I've got enough. These are repurposed guitar sets. I've got enough to make between 15 and 20 in total, depending on whether they're baritones or tenors.
Yeah, and
it'll be a limited run.
Yeah, perfect. And the tenor cost is
$1,250. So the same price that they were with Pete.
Yeah. And that will be sort of, so the HL version of that will be limited to a maximum of 20, you say?
Well, of the two of them, I've got enough wood to do between 15 and 20 instruments, depending on whether they're baritones or tenors. The baritones use more of the wood.
Brilliant. Okay. Thank you. How are you feeling about all of this? Because it must be, in some ways, this is such an interesting concept, isn't it? Because Pete's so... he's well known, he's well respected. Could I go as far as to say he's well liked?
I don't think you could go that far.
It's a good job he's not here, isn't it? So it must be, I know when I started working with Pete, and I used the term working with very loosely, I felt very honoured.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I still do. Any
Absolutely.
connection with Pete for me it's an honour in the fact that he's such a builder, and it's an honour that he's a nice guy. I wish he was here to hear that, but maybe he'll watch this video.
I think everyone who's worked with Pete for a short period of time, who's been to one of the workshops for a week, build a ukulele, they come away thinking, what an amazing experience.
Yeah.
And what an amazing person, a lovely person.
I think you're right. I've had a couple of my students have done the week with him, and then I've met other people who have done it, and people have found it, I'm not going to say spiritual, but they have found it incredibly moving. And the first time I met Pete, I just found him such an interesting guy. I loved the time we spent together, and everyone had warned me about him.
So what I was going to say was, after a week, everyone thinks this is amazing, and then when you worked with him for longer than that, a month, 2 months, 6 months, a year, you start to realise.
Steady on.
How can you not respect someone who's managed to make a living doing this?
Yeah, and I think has been such a gentleman about it as well. I've loved any dealings I've had with Pete on a personal level have been nothing but a pleasure for me. And I kind of think for you, you're clearly a very talented builder. We had a damn good play on your guitar earlier, didn't we? And we were both saying how great it was. But this must be a nice thing for you to take this on from Pete.
It's not what I thought I'd be doing.
No.
I've been making guitars now for 10, 11, 12 years. I really like making guitars. And Pete's been kind of banging on at me for a long time, almost since we met, to say, Dan, you need to make ukuleles because you can't make a living out of guitars. You'll end up doing repairs. You need to make ukuleles, and I've pushed that thought away until 12 months ago when you said, "Why don't we do a collaboration? We'll put both of our names on." How do I feel about collaborating with Pete? Look, building ukuleles is not what I expected to end up doing. I really like building guitars, but Pete, about a year ago, said, "Let's do a collaboration. We'll put both of our names on the headstock and on the inside." And at that point, you've got to remember that it's been a master apprentice relationship, and it's the most incredibly flattering thing that a master can do is to say to their apprentice, let's put both of our names on an instrument. And at that point, I could no longer say no, I won't do it. So we set out to build some instruments together, which has been a really kind of interesting, challenging, satisfying thing to do. Yeah.
And where does this go now with Lipson?
So we're still, between the two of us, we're still producing instruments that are all three brands. So we're still producing Howlett, where the work and the hands-on has primarily been Pete. We're producing Howlett Lipsons, where the work is kind of, there's a clear split of effort of who does what. And it's kind of, the engine is Pete's, but the aesthetic is jointly contributed towards. So it comes from both of us. And we're also producing Lipsons, where the hands-on work is nearly all done by myself, Pete QAs.
So that's interesting. So a Lipson, if someone buys a Lipson, it's still got a little bit of Pete in it.
It's still got a little bit of Pete in it. It's got all of Pete's design, all of the thought that went into making his instrument sound great.
And when does that stop? When will it just be Lipson?
Well, that's a good question, because 6 months ago Pete said, "I'm hanging up my boots in April."
As
And
in
then
this month.
As in this month. And then a couple of months ago, Pete said, I'll carry on until Cheltenham.
He's had more comebacks than status quo, hasn't he, old Pete?
I'm not done yet. So I'm expecting that will come to an end at Cheltenham.
And how do you feel about that? Because he's held your hand, hasn't he? And now he's not going to be there to hold your hand at the end of Cheltenham. You feel brimming with confidence? Are you excited? Are you nervous?
So I'm both of those things, right? About different aspects of this. I've been building guitars and helping Pete build ukuleles for a long time. Not nearly as long as Pete, but I've been at this for about 12 years. So I'm pretty comfortable that I can build these instruments and that I can finish them. The truth is, I don't really know the ukulele market. I don't know the community nearly as well as I need to. And so we're working on that at the moment. It's fantastic meeting people like you, meeting people like Sam.
It must be.
Sam Muir. I mean, it's just interesting in a kind of morbid way.
So Sam's playing one of your ukuleles.
Sam Muir's playing one of mine.
And they don't come much better than Sam, do they, as a player?
Oh, she's an amazing player.
Phenomenal player.
Incredible touch and feel.
Yeah.
And she knows exactly what she's looking for.
Yeah.
And what was really interesting was making an instrument for Sam, taking it down to her, and then seeing what happened when she opened the case. She didn't even look at it.
Didn't care about it.
She didn't care about what it looked like. She just wanted to pick it up and play it.
Yeah.
It was like she could have put a blindfold over her eyes. And I've never seen that before, where anyone, whether it's a guitarist or a ukulele player, who picked up their instrument, didn't even look at it, just wanted to put it in her lap and play. So that was really interesting. She's incredible.
I think with Sam, I mean, she's obviously technically a very, very competent player, but I think the thing with Sam is her touch and her tone.
Yes.
That's what she works on.
Yeah, yes. So she sat and she played my instrument for 4 hours, and that's pretty nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then meeting people like Alex and Romeo down at SUS, because they're part of the celebrity scene of the ukulele world. Same with you. So it's a treat for me to meet people like that. Will Grove White, who I know.
Yeah, he's making some great ukes as well, isn't he?
Yeah, some interesting ones with his wonky ladies.
I noticed he did a straight one the other day.
He does. I think
he's gone all straight on us.
I think he'd like to make some more straight ones.
I've played his, and they are great.
Yeah,
they are great.
Yeah.
So what's coming up for you? What have you got coming up just on the Lipson side?
Okay, so I'm busy making. We've got a couple of commissions that I'm making that are both Lipsons and Lipson Howlett.
Because this one's sold, isn't it? This one in front of you.
This one's going to your friend Steve.
It is, yes.
So Steve,
check it out. Yeah,
cherish her. We've got some commissions to do. We're building some ukuleles for Cheltenham for the festival.
So just tell me a bit about these. These are quite exciting, aren't they? These are coming in at £999.
Should we bring Pete into this conversation?
Why not? Why not?
And this is really a shout out to Matt Stead for resurrecting Cheltenham from where it was. Cheltenham was one of the most important and influential ukulele festivals of the 2010, 2020. So influential, so wonderful, and we were all very mortified when it didn't carry on. And of course, nobody was prepared to put their hand in the pocket and provide the stipend necessary for the person to organise that festival. Matt Stead took it on. I was too late into the situation to be involved in that first one, which was 2 years ago. But this year, Cheltenham is occurring again. And we want to see you there because we have interesting things for you. These evolved instruments are really quite important to us in terms of the handing over the business, the development of our relationship, where we're going. First thing I would like to talk about personally is this one here, which is the festival what we call the festival ukulele, which will not be available at Cheltenham for a reason which I can't disclose, but hopefully we'll be able to do so in a month's time. It's made from staircase.
That's a bit harsh. It's made from a beautiful wood called Nigerian cedar.
That happened to be a
That
staircase.
happened to be a staircase.
Well, I love upcycling. I think that's the one thing that's really super duper upcycling. What I'd like to do is I'd like to look at this here. This is a really strange instrument because it is made from a wood which is not commercially available. And it's horse chestnut. So we turn back to that beautiful figured wood is horse chestnut. But this is where collaboration really works. I sent Dan away with the body and the neck, but didn't know what to do about the fingerboard to make something, because it was a speculative piece. It's for sale. It's how much?
We haven't decided yet.
I haven't decided. Talk to Dan about it. It was a speculative piece. And being a speculative piece means that you can do anything you wanted to do. And I designed this harp vine, which Dan had put on an instrument in Abalone, hadn't you?
Oh, it's one of the instruments that we took to Sus last month. Yeah.
And they liked the inlay so much, and the inlay worked, but I wasn't too certain about it. I was struggling to try and make it out of pearl. Couldn't find the right sort of pearl. Until Dan's had this brilliant idea.
Well, yeah, so rather than doing it with pearl or mother of pearl or abalone, we thought, why not do it with wood? And then you've got the challenge of, well, what wood? Because you don't want it to just be brown, because it would just be some brown wood. But I happen to have some pink ivory, which is an amazing, beautiful pink colour.
As you can see.
And we thought that would look good as the hearts of the heart vine. And then Pete suggested using lemon wood for the stems. So that's what we did, and that's the result that you can see.
And the reason I got this here, and we're talking about it in that way, that's how our collaboration works. One of us has an idea, kicks it to the other guy, the other guy kicks that around, kicks it back, and we end up with something which is just absolutely stunning piece of work. It just blows me away. I'm just look at it and think, did we do that?
It's yummy, doesn't it?
Yeah, we do that. And then we think about how can my next idea was like this. These are my last pieces. Essentially, my last pieces. What should Dan be doing with that? Should he take my piece and just be a clone of me and be another Dan, D'Acquisto?
Howlett 2.
Yeah.
Mini me.
Well,
Maxi me, obviously.
The way I look at it is John Jellicoe and John D'Acquisto. Did I want Dan to be like D'Acquisto? And the answer was no. I don't want Dan just simply to be idle and ride off the back of these. I want him to think about where he's going with his own stuff, because Dan has got access to the most incredible stash of wood I've ever seen in my life. And it's from one particular tree. And I thought to myself, there's something that we could do with that. We could prairie state it. So it comes to this instrument on the end here, which Dan's going to talk about.
So this is a new instrument. This is a new design. It's got the essences of what we've been doing, but it's a slightly redesigned body. It's slightly wider, so slightly larger. Still a tenor. This is a U on the backs, the sides, and the front.
Wait a minute. You should say U tree.
The U tree.
The U tree.
Fantastic colour in that. When that's varnished, it'll all come out. We've got so that's native wood. The bracing on the inside is UK grown redwood, so native wood. The neck is alder, grown in Shropshire, so native wood. And the bits and bobs on this, the fretboard, the headstock veneer and the bridge are also, they're laburnum. So again, a UK native wood. So we've got an all UK woods. All of them are beautiful, with a slightly different design. And this is going to be the English style tenor, so the EST. This is the prototype, and hopefully we're going to get her strung up in the next week or two, and we'll see what she sounds like. And we may be able to bring one or two of these to Cheltenham.
Well, Dan and I have discussed a little bit about, because we do discuss what Dan's going to do. I have no influence on it. Dan makes his own choice. But Dan will probably have 3 iterations of this: basic model, an intermediate model, and then a model that you can
Bling up.
Yeah. And basically, but for me, this is, as I see this progression of where we are from where I started, which was basically making tenor 6 and 8 strings between 4 and 6 a month, to developing an instrument which is developed from that. These two have got the same heritage. To looking at something which we've been working on recently and seeing how that can then evolve in. The final phase of my life as a builder is as a consultant. I'm no longer going to be the builder. And if Dan needs my help and wants advice, he can come to me. And that's how I'm going to slip away into retirement and obscurity.
Yeah, you heard that here first.
Can we get that in writing?
Well, there's a driving force behind this, and she's not here at the moment.
Yes. Yeah.
But it's been one of the greatest privileges of my life to work with 2 great luthiers. First one was Tommy Siegenspeck, and the second one has been Dan Lipson. And to me, it's been wonderful to be able to share what I had been gifted. Because if you have a gift and you don't share it, that gift will die with you, and you'll be responsible for a murder.
It's also, I have to say, been a lot of fun. I've had some laughs. It's been frustrating as heck, but it's also been a lot of fun. Yeah, we've had some good times.
We've had many good times, and those have been where we've come together and we've just strung an instrument up, and we've looked at each other as we played the first chord of that instrument.
Oh, whoa, that works. Yeah.
How do we do that?
Yeah. There, the baritone moment. Yeah. You play it yourself and you think, oh, that's nice, that's mellow. And then you turn around and you think, yeah, all the hair goes back from your head. You think, wow, how does that happen?
Those of us who've got hair.
Yeah, yeah, well, I did until you played the baritone in front of me.
Yeah.
And you're both going to be at Cheltenham, aren't they? If people want to come and chat to you, want to try these out.
We're going to be at Wallingford at they call it the big ukulele.
What's the raffle prize at Wallingford?
We've got to say this. Even if it doesn't, even if you don't get the video out in time, it's going to be a day in the workshop.
Day in the workshop.
Capel Salem.
But is that the booby prize?
Well, actually, what I've got.
Yeah, that's the wooden spoon raffle prize. Spend a day at Capel Salem, but the winning prize is spend a day here.
I had it the other way round. That the booby prize was here actually, Dan. Sorry, I misheard Pete when he said that.
You can see what I'm up against.
Yeah.
Can't you? No, unless you've been truly humbled in life, you'd never be able to accept this kind of ridicule.
But that's probably going to be your last festival, isn't it, Cheltenham? That you're bowing out there.
I'm putting down my tools in August.
Yeah.
Pete, you haven't said anything about these because we're making 6 of these, aren't we?
We want you to buy these at Cheltenham. You've got to buy them at Cheltenham, otherwise my retirement fund is not going to be the right size. These instruments are the culmination of my 32 years of experience in building. They have our unique bracing pattern, our unique top configuration, our unique bracing of the back. They're all made from highly figured koa, which is where I started. And they are collaboration instruments in the true sense of we are collaborating to bring you the very best that you could possibly. And I would challenge you to come to Cheltenham and play any instrument there and stand it up against one of these. Because for some reason, these are just incredible. Alex just melted, didn't he? He went to bits, basically, when he played one. Because he plays a lot of ukulele. He's got tremendous depth of knowledge and understanding. So you've got to be somewhere to impress Alex.
He plays a lot of nice ukuleles.
He does play a lot of
so
nice
it's not like he's playing rubbish stuff, is
and
it?
he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's got beautiful touch as well.
Yeah.
He can explore what an
He's got
instrument
a
can
lovely
do.
voice as well. Yeah, he's got a beautiful
He's
singing
a good
voice.
songwriter.
Yeah.
And the one here, the ironically named festival ukulele that won't be available at the festival.
Yeah. For a reason. Which
That's fine.
It's available beforehand.
But you can order it now, can't you?
You can order it now.
You can order it, just won't be ready in time for the festival.
Won't be ready. This one is going to Steve Carpenter.
He's a lucky man.
Steve has been one of my most loyal collectors, and he'll be picking it up at Romford.
I had a go on it. It's a great uke, really great uke.
So there are 2 more of those, aren't there?
There are 2 more of those, and we've got enough wood to build.
Yeah,
Shed load.
there are 2, but they're all sold except for 2.
Yeah,
and
these remain unsold at the moment.
There are 5 of these that are unsold.
I think that's a nice thing. I mean, I'm really looking forward to seeing you guys at Cheltenham. It's going to be fun. It's going to be an amazing festival, isn't it? And it's great that you 2 guys are there. So yes, excellent. Let's wrap up there for a little while, shall we?
Cool.